Hi, Melinda. Nice to see you. Hi, Melanie, all the way from New Zealand. Oh my gosh, what time is it there? Thanks for joining. Thank you all for joining. So we're going to get started. It's about 2 minutes after as everyone is coming on. Oh, it's 11 a.m. Oh, that's not too bad. Perfect. Okay, cool. I'm in Arizona, so it's 4 p.m. here. So that's awesome. Great deal. So yeah, as you're coming in, just say hello. Again, if you have questions, feel free to ask questions. I'll be sharing my screen and I'll stop, so we'll kind of make sure. I want this to definitely be interactive. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. For those that don't know me, I am Dr. Nadia Brown. I'm the founder of Doyen Leadership Institute and the creator of the Take the Leap event. And I am super excited to host today's webinar, Sleaze to Ease, 3 Keys to Having Powerful Sales Conversations. Because many times when it comes to sales, we're just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it, Dr. Nadia. I just don't want to do it. Don't make me do it. And so today we're going to talk about that, because a lot of times that fear or those feelings of ick, slime, sleaze hold us back from building our businesses. And we want to make both an impact, but we also want to make revenue. And as I talk to my clients, I tell them that passion does not pay the bills. And so how do we get out there and really not only have an impact to impact the clients that we desire to work with, but we also impact our bank accounts? Let's just be real. Let's just talk about it. We want to make some money with that. So let me share my screen. All right, so here we are. So today our outcomes are 3 keys to overcoming the fear of rejection and not taking no personally, because it does sometimes feel personal when having sales conversations. One simple thing you can do in 3 minutes or less to improve the impact of your communication. And then we're also going to talk about mindset. What's the mindset shift you need to make to move from fear to confidence when it comes to having sales conversations? Some other outcomes. I want you to be able to walk away from today's webinar armed and equipped and ready and excited to talk to prospects and potential clients about growing your business and growing your revenue. And there may be some of you that even after today, you want to know more about how I can support you in building your revenue and growing your business. I will be more than happy to share a way that you can do that. I have a very exciting invitation for you that I will definitely share today before we wrap up. So before we dive into all the stuff around keys and strategies, let's just take a moment to think about our 2017 annual revenue goal or target, whichever number feels good to you. You don't have to share this number in the chat, but I just want you to take a moment and jot this number down in your notes. What was that goal? In January of 2017, when we were all really, really, really excited about a new year and we had big vision for what this year would look like, what was that revenue goal? And now that we're in June, we may or may not be on target. That's okay. But I just want us to always stay focused on what that revenue goal is, because here's the good news. All is not lost. And if you're feeling like, you know what, Dr. Nadia, I am a little off target, no worries. There is hope to get you back on target, but we first have to know what the target is, right? So whatever that goal or target is, go ahead and be sure to just jot that down in your notes. So let's talk about sales. When you think of sales and you think of sales conversations, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And I want to see you post this in the chat box. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about sales? Don't everyone speak at once. What's the first thing that comes to mind? So, okay, we have a what do I sell first? That's a good one. What on earth do I sell first? especially for those of us who may have multiple products that we sell. Anything else that comes up for you? Fear. People will avoid me if they know I am selling. Ooh, that's a good one. Anyone feel like you're going to be the one avoided like the plague? Stay away if you're selling me something. Fear comes up. Will they buy it? All really good questions. Any other things that come up? Feeling like I am being pushy. Yes, Melanie. Oh my goodness. Yes, that's a huge one. How many of you have just felt like in order for me to be successful, I have to be pushy. I have to convince people to work with me. I have to twist their arms. Like there's just going to be this whole melodrama, and I don't want to do all that. I just don't want to. Yep, totally felt that. Absolutely. Yep. You got a lot of women feel that way, and we're just like, not signing up. That is not what I signed up to do. So I am not doing it, and you can't make me. And it's a big thing. A lot of times I talk to women, and I feel icky, I feel slimy, I feel sleazy. I know I was there, started my business. I was really excited to do my work with women. I just didn't want to sell. And I was like, I do not want to be the sleazy sales girl, Dakisha said, and pressure them into signing up. We know you've been to high pressure sales. If you don't sign up today, your children are going to get sick and die. Like it's just crazy talk, right? And we've seen it. We've seen it a lot of times, and it doesn't feel good to us when we're on the receiving end. And so we're just like, I'm not going to put anyone else through that. Here's the thing though, we're business owners, we're building a business, and that creates a conundrum. Like, okay, I get that, and I do need to sell something because I have to generate revenue. So thank you ladies for sharing that. I'm going to go back, share my screen. Yeah, most people think of this guy. I have to become the used car salesman, and I just got to push you and push you and push you, because surely if I just push hard enough, somebody will buy from me and you'll be excited to buy. But how many of us are service providers or coaches or people that you kind of have a close relationship with this person? So it's not like you're just selling a book or a product that they buy, or even a car. Because with a car, I buy my car, whether I'm excited about buying a car or not, and I leave. Like I don't have to keep seeing this guy once the transaction is over. But in our businesses, a lot of times I see you over and over. If you're in my coaching program, I may see you weekly or monthly. Now you have this feeling, now we have something between us that doesn't feel good because I twisted your arm or I pressured you into working with me, and no one wants to feel that way. And while buyer's remorse is real, we want our conversations to be as authentic and genuine as possible when we're doing that. And so these fears are real, and they do stop us from really putting ourselves out there, from inviting people to work with us, because we don't want to be this guy. I do not want to be this guy, and I don't want people walking away from having a sales conversation with me feeling like I'm the sleaze bag and the scum of the earth. Like that is just not how I want that conversation to go. And I get that I don't have control over people's feelings. However, I do have control over how I choose to conduct business, and I choose not to be the sleaze bag when I'm doing sales. And I want to help you not be the sleaze bag either. So if you felt like that, if you feel like that fear is holding you back, the only way I can be successful in sales is if I strong arm people and try to get them or convince them or beg with them and plead with them to work with me, then you are most definitely in the right place. So who is this Dr. Nadia? Who am I? I've often been called a pop of pink in a sea of navy blue. I started my business because I wanted to help women leaders. I wanted them to lead powerfully and authentically. And I love to train, and I was really excited. And at one point, all I wanted to do was be a coach, hang out in my office, and work with women leaders all around the globe. Like that was my big vision. I eventually started speaking and training, and then I fell in love with that, and that's what I love to do. But after being at this for a couple of years, I realized that I had one major problem in my business, and that was revenue. I was on this massive roller coaster. And how many of you have been there? You're like, up this month, woohoo, yeah, baby, we made some revenue. Down the next month, like down below the line. Like you went under a tunnel. Like it was just bad. And it was just consistently just crazy town in my business until I just hit a point where it was just all lows. There was like barely a blip. And I had to have that conversation with myself about, okay, what's really going on? I think I'm a smart girl. I'm good at what I do. I get good feedback. So what's that block and what's holding me back? And I invite you to write this down. About 85% of your success in sales is around your feelings, your thoughts, and your emotions and your perceptions around sales. That's 85%. That's good news because we can change our thoughts, our emotions, our perceptions, and that only means that 15% of your success is skill, which you can learn how to do, but it's not a huge thing. Like once you change that mindset, boom, you'll start to see things shift drastically in how you do business, but also in how your bank account looks. So what is sales? Because we make this such a big thing. It's like sales. Oh, you say that word and people are like, I'm not a salesperson. I don't do that. What are you talking about? It's almost like I just called you a bad name when you talk about being a salesperson. But I looked up the definition because I'm a word girl. And sales is simply the exchange of goods, services, or property for money. How many of us in our businesses have goods, services, or even property? Like it's an even exchange. There is an exchange for that. But where is that hiccup in there that causes us to just go, oh my gosh, this is so horrible, or we start stuttering, or we start sweating, or there's just all these things that happen once we decide that, you know what, we're going to have a sales conversation because I need to invite people to work with me. I need to be willing to ask for the business so that I can grow my business. Well, that's the good news, is that there's simple exchange so we can learn how to do that. So again, what emotions come up for you when you hear the word no? What comes up for you when you hear the word no? Hey, Doctor, thanks for joining us today. What comes up when we hear the word no? No, I don't want to work with you. I can't afford it. I don't know what's going on. What emotions come up for you when you hear the word no? I can't do this. I'm not good enough. Anything else come up for you? These are all really good. Why? Why did you say no? Yes. Feeling like I haven't shown them the value well enough. What did I say wrong? All of this is good stuff. Where did I go wrong? Okay. Anything else? Good stuff. Yeah, when you hear the word no, it causes us to be like, I have questions. I question myself. I question my abilities. I sometimes, like someone mentioned, I question my worth. Like, am I good enough? Like, is it about me? And sometimes I joke, like we feel like you just call my baby ugly. Like, seriously? Like, it's serious. And so how many of us are really excited about being rejected? Like there are times, let's just be honest, when it feels very personal. No matter how many times someone may say it's not personal, it does feel very personal. Oh, Melinda, that's a good one. Yes. Personally, I would rather have a no than avoidance. Oh, yes. That's a big one. Yeah, it does feel personal. Top of my list, Dr. said, me. It feels very personal sometimes. I get it. Even today, I love sales conversations. I love talking to prospects and potential clients and just building relationships and all of that stuff. And there are still some days when I'm like, wait a second, did I get a no? No, I get no. Like, wait, what did I do? Let's talk about this, ladies. First of all, no is part of the process. And that doesn't make it any easier. We're going to talk about that, but let's just, let's put that out there. No is part of the process. There was some great questions. I'm actually going to scroll up a little bit here. What did I say wrong? So there may have been something that you could have tweaked a little bit better. Maybe they had some additional questions. Write this down. I love this. I was at an event about 3 years ago, and Lisa Nichols said that she says, no is next opportunity. Next opportunity. And we share these, not that it lessens the blow, right? Because a no is still a no, and it sometimes still hits us in a certain way. Like we have emotions, and that's okay. But to have something to refer to in terms of picking ourselves back up, because sometimes a no can take us out for a while. Like you get a no and you don't talk to another person for 3 months because you know that one hit so hard. So how do we bounce back? So that's one of the things we're going to talk about today, is those keys to move past it. But I agree. Kiki says, oh yeah, me too. Avoidance sucks. And how many of us work with women? Like we have primarily female clients or prospects of people that we're talking to. No is a big thing for us as women. And one thing that I definitely want us to think about as we're looking at having our conversations with prospects and potential clients is there may be times when you give them permission to tell you no. Most people will take you up on it if it's truly a no. Some still won't, they'll just avoid you. But to really develop that rapport and that, you know what, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. Even if you feel like it's really gonna hurt your feelings, don't do that. That's strongly arming people into stuff. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. I give you permission that if this isn't a great fit, then just let me know, and either we'll figure out something else that may be a good fit, or maybe there's someone in my network that I know that would be a better fit, and that's okay. So we have to really own our emotions and be really aware of our emotions and how our emotions can take us out of the game if we're not careful, and it could sabotage our success, because if I make the conversation about me, then it's a problem. So I invite you to write that down. It's not about you. It's not about you. When you're in that conversation, it's about how you can serve him or her, not about you. Kiki said, most of us need to find the power in saying no and hearing it. Absolutely. That's a whole different training, Kiki, all about the no. So we'll get that one scheduled. But yes, how do we deal with the no and really not making the call about us? When you're in that conversation, you are really taking on the role of leader, but your focus is on how you can best serve them, what that relationship looks like. And truth be told, this is another big mindset shift. You're not just talking to them to convince them to work with you or even to invite them to work with you. You're talking, it's a two-way thing. Are they a good fit for you? Because how many of us have had clients, you're just like, oh, heaven help me. Like, this was not even worth it. Anybody else out there that's had a client that was a massive headache and you were like, this was not worth it? Me? Yeah. Yes, indeed. Exactly. So again, when you take on that role of, you know what, we're coming together to have a conversation to see if this is a good fit on both sides. I'm interviewing you, you're interviewing me, and we'll see if this is a good match for both of us. Again, it takes you out of feeling like you're the victim or you're powerless because they have all the power and they're the only ones making a decision. No, this is a mutual decision. And when you get down to that invitation, is this a mutual invitation and that this is a good fit for us to work together in whatever way that you see fit? Oops. Hold on. When sharing your screen goes wrong. All right, here we go. So key number one to having more powerful sales conversations is stop selling. Wait a minute, Dr. Nadia, did you just say stop selling? Yes, I did. Stop selling and start connecting. There is this saying out there, and it just came up. I saw someone post it recently on Facebook about this whole ABC, always be closing, whatever. No, always be connecting, especially us as women. We are connectors. A lot of us are relational. We like to hang out. And it's a big part of how we operate. And if your only focus is how can I sell you this item or my program or whatever, you're missing a big part of the overall experience. And when you think about it, I want you to think about a sales experience that was very positive for you. You had a great time and you were excited to work with that person or purchase that product. I almost guarantee you that there was a great experience, and part of that was the connection. They didn't make you feel like you were just another commission, another check mark on their box, another deal that they closed and they can go celebrate with their team. They made you truly feel like you were heard, you were seen, and there was some sort of connection. And when you have a focus on the relationship and on the connection and not just on the deal, then it totally changes your mindset and how you interact with your prospects and your potential clients. It changes everything. It also takes all of that salesy goob out of here. See, I just made up a new word, goob. It takes all of that out of the equation because you're really focused on the connection. And when we think about the number of times when we call girlfriends and be like, girl, it's a sale on at Macy's, or, you know, whatever, during the holidays, it's not because we're trying to sell them, but it's about the relationship. It's about the connection. And I know that, you know, you getting a great deal on shoes or getting a great deal on an airline ticket or a vacation, like that's important to you. And I share that with you because I care, because we have a relationship. And so the same is true when we're building our businesses, when we're connecting with people and we figure out a way that, oh, wait, I can help you with that. Then it's not salesy. I'm not just trying to shove some widgets down your throat or get in my program or strong arm you or manipulate you. It's truly relationship. And it's coming from a place of service. And most women that I talk to and I work with, that's when they started their businesses. They wanted to serve. They wanted to help people. They were passionate about an idea or a concept or a certain population. And they have a heart for that. And at some point, it's like, oh, crap, I need to make money. So how do I do this? But yeah, so it's not necessarily the driving motivator, but it's definitely an important part for building your business. Any questions with that one? Stop selling, start connecting. All right. Key number 2, set a goal to get 100 no's. Set a goal to get 100 no's. And I see a question, so I'm going to stop sharing for a second here. How do you know if you're really selling rather than connecting? Okay, I'll answer that. Great question, Dr. So let me answer that question first. So how do you know? One, pay attention to your energy. Pay attention to your motives and even how you're feeling. So when you think about connection and how that conversation might go, if you were having a conversation, say, with your sister or your best friend. And even though you may say, because sometimes we do have conversations, let's just be real. We have conversations depending on how your business is structured and how you generate leads, where they are scheduling time to talk to you for the sole purpose of you selling them. Like, let's just be clear. And if that's how your business is set up, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just around how we enter into that conversation. So there's some very conversational ways that you can do that. So Kiki, you're cracking me up. So Dr. one of the ways you can do that is when you're in those conversations. So let's just say this is someone you're not very familiar with, you don't have a relationship with, and you two have scheduled time to chat for the sole purpose of you supporting them in some way, shape, or form. Here's one of the things. One good factor is they schedule time to talk to you. So they know that in some way you can help them. Now, whether they choose to take that next step is a completely different thing, but half the battle is already down. Like, they get it that they need your support or they desire to work with you in some type of capacity. Now, the other thing to that is when you're having a conversation, start off with questions. Don't just dive into all the things you can do. Ask questions and be very inquisitive about them and what it is that they desire and their big vision and what are some of their challenges or some of their problems. So then now you can really come up with a collaborative solution, or maybe it's not collaborative and you just go in, doctor, because you're like, look, I'm the doctor, I already know, and this is how it's going to be. Here are my recommendations. But you give them an opportunity to be heard and you take your time. So you don't rush through it. Yeah. Hurry up. And you know when someone is just listening because they're being polite, because they're waiting for you to stop talking, versus when someone is listening and they're truly listening because they care and they're truly interested in what it is that you have to say. So that is a big distinction between connecting and selling, in that I'm leading with, I just want to get to the close. I just want to get the credit card. I don't care. I don't care what you do. I don't care what package you buy. Just want to give me the credit card attitude, versus let me see what's the best way that we can work together. And sometimes the answer to that is we don't work together. I had a conversation just last week with someone. We weren't a good fit right now at this stage of her business. I gladly referred her to someone else. And I set that expectation up front. I was like, we're going to have a conversation to see if we're a good fit. But if we're not, I would gladly refer you to someone else in my network. And that is exactly what happened. Connection, not selling. Let me know if that answers your question. Colette says, I love it. Always be connecting. Thank you. Kiki said, what you say, Willis? 100 no's. We can say no to them. Sometimes you just know. If you trust your gut, sometimes you know. You sometimes are not surprised that trouble client is now a trouble client. You had clues and an idea they were probably going to be a pain in the beginning, but for whatever reason, you said yes. And that's okay. Sometimes we have to learn those lessons that way, but it's good to get that out there. So as I mentioned, key number 2 was 100 no's. How many of y'all are hyperventilating? Like, you have got to be kidding me. 100 what? No. Anyone else is like Kiki, like, what you say? I don't want to do that. Doctor said, you already know. Melinda said, I've tried it and it really does take the pressure off. It really does. So why 100 no's? Here's the thing that we have to do as we're making this transition. Many of us, have been trained to sell a certain way, or we've seen it done a certain way, and we may not be sure that there's a different way to do it. So we have to get out there and practice. We also have to unlearn all the stuff that doesn't work for us. So the best way to do that is practice, to have conversations with real people who may or may not say yes to work with us. Kiki's question was in a month or a week. I typically give clients 30 days. The sooner you can compress it, the better. So if you can have 100 more conversations in a week, I say go for it. Most of us aren't wired that way. Like, that would be exhausting to the average person. So no, you don't have to squeeze them into a week. You can stretch it out. I like 30 days. That gives you some breathing room. And it also just kind of gives you some time to craft your to get your skills up, but also to kind of pay attention. Like you said earlier, if they said no, why? Is there something I can tweak? Am I getting the same no over the same no, as in maybe they're saying they can't afford it, or they don't have the time, or something like that? Are you getting the same response? Because then there are some adjustments that you can make to your conversation to see if you get a different result. Kiki said a month feels better. Good. I'm glad a month feels better. She's like, whoo, I can breathe. 100 no's also helps you to identify your close ratio. Most of us don't know how many conversations we need to have on a consistent basis to hit that number. Whatever your number was at the beginning when I asked you about your annual revenue target. So if your annual revenue goal was, I'm just throwing this out there, $250,000, how many people do you have to talk to for your program at that price point? Because we also have different programs. There's some of us, we build our businesses by having online programs, and we're looking for a lot of people because our price points may be a 97 or 147 a month. There are those of us who have 25,000 plus programs, and there are a lot of us somewhere in between. So when you look at that, how many conversations do you need to have when you start to really do the math? So we start to break it down. But that gives you that information on what the conversations look like. It also lets you know, are the leads that I'm generating when I'm having these conversations, are they the right leads? Because when I've been out there, I've been speaking, I've spoken to crowds, and it was a fun event or whatever, but I was like, that was not my crowd. Like, it wasn't a good fit in terms of moving forward with having conversations and ultimately working with them. So it gives you a lot of information as you look at your overall business, but it also, for most people, it gets you in consistent conversation, because most of us aren't having 100 conversations even in 30 days. We're just not doing it. Part of it is because we're afraid. Another part was we just may need to amp up our lead generation and how we're doing that. But yeah, so if you're having those kinds of conversations on a more consistent basis, or someone on your team, because you can build a sales team, there's nothing wrong with that either. Now you're getting out there and you're really getting that information, but you're also getting some yeses too. So you're generating revenue. How do you learn what you need to tweak on your sales process? Great question. One of the things that I recommend, and getting us ahead of ourselves today, but one of the things that I recommend is tracking it. Tracking what people say, not tracking what we think they're going to say, actually writing down the exact words that they say. So I'm a big proponent of tracking your actions, measuring them, looking at the data, not being afraid to pay attention to that kind of information, because it makes a big difference. And again, also look at how you got the prospects in the first place. Because some of you speak, so maybe you have some speaking engagements and you offered them an opportunity to speak with you from the stage, versus maybe you did a Facebook Live. Like if you look at that and you had a call to action and they scheduled time to work with you, what happened? So also paying attention to where the leads came from, how did you get them, which talk did you give, which call to action, like these are all different things. And so we also have to give ourselves time to kind of look at some of this data as well, but to really, one, be willing. Most people get stuck on 100 no's. They're just like, wait, what? You want me to do what? But it's really important that you get out there and you start to get in conversation. There are also some other key things that you get. You get great feedback when you're talking to real live people about maybe ideas. You may have created a program thinking it was going to solve one problem, and as you're talking to prospects, you realize that there's a different problem. So again, that will change maybe some of your marketing message or things that you say in your conversation, because this is really what's going on. This is really what clients desire, or this is the problem that they're having. So to be willing to have the conversation, but also not put so much pressure on yourself that I have to get all these deals right this second, or I'm a complete and utter failure, but having some fun with it. Like, you know what? This is all an experiment, and I'm willing to experiment to see what the conversation looks like. So one of the things that I'll do a lot of times is, if I have an idea about a new program, I'll want to immediately have some conversations with people and really take them through the process to see whether they say yes or no. I'm not married to the yes or the no. Right now, I'm just kind of in that info gathering stage to kind of figure out what that kind of feels like and get their feedback on what's working and what's not. So definitely being okay with that. Got it. Very true, Taria. You need to know where your leads are coming from, because it does make a big difference. And as you have more of those conversations, you can almost kind of predict how the conversation is going to go based on how the lead was generated. But that just comes through practice and being willing to really get out there and be engaged in conversation. So great conversation, ladies. Great feedback. So getting those 100 no's and getting out there, looking at ways to generate those, because typically the next question is, where am I going to get those leads from, Dr. Nadia? How do I get in conversation with these people? I encourage you, one, start here, your own cell phone. How many people are in your cell phone that are either would be a good fit for you, or they know someone who might be a good fit for you? Starting there, Facebook, LinkedIn, people that are already personally connected to us. If you are sending regular emails, you can send out an email to your list, and the call to action is to schedule some time to meet with you and have a conversation with you. Let me stop sharing. I see some stuff popping up. I like the idea of having practice conversations. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, Kiki, it's amazing what you can do. One of my colleagues and I, a couple months ago, we put together this 90-day program. We're going to collaborate on it, and we're kind of in the lab, like, well, I think we would do this, or we might do that, or it might look this way and it's at this price point. I was like, look, I just need some basic information and I need to go talk to people. And I immediately started reaching out to people and saying, hey, here's what's going on. I think this might be a good fit. And I took them through the conversation to see whether we got a yay or a nay. And then I could go back and I was like, okay, here's what I'm getting. But while you're in the lab, you don't really know. So be willing to get out there. And the exciting part is people say yes. And you're like, holy crap, you said yes? Wait, what? I have that happen too. Clients are like, Dr. Nadia, I got a yes. Now what do I do? Somebody said yes. What do I do next? And so great way to do that. I love having a call to action as always as a backup. If you don't have anything else to say when you're doing your marketing, whether it's Facebook Lives or webinars or speaking or elevator pitch, have a way for people to have conversations with you. And then once you get really, really good and you're really, really busy and you're all booked up, you can take them through process. And then again, what qualifying process can you take people through? There's nothing wrong. So let's talk about this. Because this is a conversation that's been coming up a lot for me, even with my colleagues, because we've all known them, right? Those tire kickers, those people that want to get on a call with you. They don't really have any intentions of doing anything real or investing in themselves. They just want to kick the tires and they want to pick your brain. There are things that you can do again before they have that conversation to start to qualify them. And that doesn't mean that you will always get a yes, but it will lessen the number of people that you get that are just there to, quite frankly, waste your time. So whether that's putting some verbiage around on a form, like when they go to sign up, like this is not a pick your brain session. Like this is a session for us to see how we can work together. And you can put some little bullet points there. I just talked to a client today. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing that totally. You can have them fill out a questionnaire. And, you know, two things. One, it gives you some information about the person that you're going to have a conversation with. And it also helps you be better prepared going into that conversation so you don't feel like you're starting from zero. So you can ask them some very basic questions that align with, you know, your packages. So you can kind of have an idea, you know, maybe I thought my core, but this person might be a, you know, a really good fit for my high end package. So again, being willing to do that, or you may realize, you know what, this person isn't a good fit for me right now, but they may be a great person. I'll pick on Kiki for Kiki. So you go talk to Kiki, I'll connect you to, you work with Kiki, and then maybe later you can come back and work with me. People love that because again, it's about connection and they feel like you're not just in it for yourself and it's not just about you. You're building relationship. And I am here to tell you those seeds do come back. Whether that person invests with you in the future or someone else, those seeds really do come back. And again, it takes that pressure off of every single time I talk to someone, I have to walk away with a credit card. No, you don't, because you will talk to people that you frankly don't want to work with for whatever reason. And it's okay to tell them that we're not a good fit. All right, 100 no's. I hope everyone is still breathing. So just take a deep breath. Dr. Nadia said 100 no's. I can do this. I can do this. And let's just think about it. If we were to break that down over 4 weeks, 5 days in a week, that's what, like 4 calls? No, wait, that's not right. That's like 5 calls a day. So I think that's 25 times 4 gives 100. 5 conversations a day. Can we have 5 conversations a day? I think we can. So let's talk about what happens when you follow these steps. Someone took one of my trainings earlier this year. And again, this works. Doing this, having those conversations, getting the confidence to have those conversations. This is LaVista Jones. She's an operations manager at 31 Marketplace. She followed these steps. She was able to increase her monthly revenue by 480%. I was like, wait, what? Do that again. Did you do your math right, girlfriend? 400 and what? 480%. Now I want you to just sit there and let that simmer for a minute. 480%. How would your business look if you were able to increase your revenue by 480%? And not only that, she did it in just a little over 1 week. So it did not take her 12 years. It took her barely over a week. So let's just give you 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, if you were able to see a significant increase in your business and in your revenue, how would that impact you? Like, how would you feel if you were to have a 480% increase? How would you feel if you were to have a 200% increase? Some of you might be like, Dr. Nadia, if I had a 10% increase, like, let's just be real. Like, how would that feel if you were able to have that type of increase in your business? And I'm gonna stop sharing because I want to see these comments that are rolling in. Just did that today and it felt good because I still felt like I helped the person, made a referral. Absolutely. And they remember that because, again, it's about that relationship. Thanks for sharing that, Taria. Anyone that's really excited about increasing your revenue, like, how would it feel? Anyone would be excited. I don't know. Somebody said I would be shouting. I would be too. I would be shouting. When she called me, she was super excited. And I was like, girl, let me find my calculator. Like, I just couldn't believe it. At first I was like, you did what? That fast? In a week? Like, we just finished. It works. Being in conversation, having the confidence, being calm, not being stressed out, and also having me help you figure out what the heck to say. Because that's the top 2 questions. Where are these people coming from? And what the heck do I say once I'm on the phone with them? I already know what y'all gonna say. I already know. I can help you with that. Kiki said she'd be on a plane celebrating. Right, because Kiki's a digital nomad. So she would be off to, I don't know what, Barcelona, Italy, Australia. There's no telling with Kiki. Dr. Doctor said, amazing. It would take my breath away. This is the thing, y'all. It's possible. This is what's possible when we make these mindset shifts, when we build that confidence and we're willing to just get out there and have conversations and invite people. Pay attention to the words, invite people to work with us, to find out and be inquisitive about how we can support them in what it is that they want to achieve. It's possible. And these results often just blow my mind. I'm always blown away like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. 480% increase in just a little over a week. So I have a question for you. Are you up for a challenge? Are you up for a challenge? Is now the time to stop playing small and to really get out there and do the doggone thing? Is it time? Because here's the thing. It's possible and it doesn't have to take forever. And if you're feeling like, you know what, some small tweaks in my business could be the difference maker from me being stressed out from week to week, month to month, are you up for a challenge? And so earlier, I mentioned that I had a special invitation for those who were like, you know what, Dr. Nadia, we need to continue to do some things. Well, if that's you, I have a very special challenge. It's called the Sleaze to Ease 30-Day Revenue Challenge. Why am I doing this? One, because I love helping women make money. It makes me excited. I get excited when y'all text me like, I just closed a deal, or I got a new client, or I'm off to my new adventure because my revenue increased by 500%. Like, I get excited. And it's fun for me. I love sales. I went from hating sales. I hated it. I hated having sales conversations. I was always shocked when someone wanted to work with me. So I love it. I love it because it gives me an opportunity to connect, but it also gives me an opportunity to serve. So what the purpose of the revenue challenge is, one, to generate some revenue. Let's generate some revenue. Let's get some new clients. Also, let's do it in a community setting. Part of the challenge for us women, we're trying to do too much by ourselves. How much fun would it be to have a group of women and where our whole focus is building our businesses together and we're having fun doing it and you have accountability? And how would you feel if you knew that I was just a text message away when you were on a sales call, so you had some support? Would that help you? Would you feel a lot more excited and confident in that? You'll also learn how to generate consistent leads and prospects in your business, so you don't have to continue to be on this roller coaster, feast or famine. Like, cut that out. Let's say goodbye to that. And one of my personal favorites, you will learn how to have more powerful sales conversations. powerful and confident conversations, because you'll know what to say, you'll know how to say it. It won't be scripted. It'll be very authentic, and it'll fit you and your personality. So I invite you to join me for the 30-day Sleaze to Ease Revenue Challenge. We'll begin on June 19th. You can head over to doyenleadership.com/challenge to get the details, but we're going to have a great time. So I wanted to share that with you before we got to key number 3. But again, doyenleadership.com/challenge. Well, actually, let's take a second to go there. So we have one more key that we're going to go over, so bear with me. But let's take a look at all the good stuff that we are going to be doing. All right. Okay, I can't see my tabs. So over the 30 days that we'll work together, here's what you'll get. We'll have weekly Facebook Live trainings. You'll have a revenue tracker. We're going to track your revenue so we can celebrate how much money you've made over those 30 days. I'll also provide you with a revenue acceleration toolkit, so you'll have other resources, tools, and checklists to help you with that. We're going to be in a private Facebook group. So again, you're not doing this by yourself. You'll have community support, accountability, because I know fear is going to rear its ugly head, and we'll be there to have your back. And you won't be in this by yourself. But most importantly, you're going to have more clients, more revenue, and more fun. More fun. And I'm so excited to do this. And the investment is only $97. Only $97 to participate over 30 days. And like I said, we'll start on June 19th. We already have ladies in the group, so we're getting started early so that once the 19th comes, we just take off for getting those clients and really getting out there and generating revenue. All right, I had a couple questions. Should we be seeing your screen? I can't. Not seeing your screen. All right, I don't know what I did wrong. Let me try it again. Thanks for the heads up. All right, let me know if you can see it now. Again, here's what's included: the weekly Facebook Live trainings. I'll also post the, let's see. Yes, okay, perfect. I'll also post the link in the chat, so you'll be able to go later and check it out. So again, here's what's included. It's at doyenleadership.com/challenge. Like I said, we'll have the weekly Facebook Live trainings, the tracker, the acceleration toolkit will be in our group, and then more clients, more revenue, and more fun. All right, so let's get to key number 3. Last key. We're going to wrap it on up. Key number 3, create a courage diary. Because let me tell you, it takes courage to do this. It takes some serious courage to get out there and say, you know what, I'm going to face this fear head on. I'm going to commit to talking to more than 100 people, because you have to talk to more than 100 people to get 100 no's, because along the way, you're going to get some yeses. And so making that commitment and doing what it takes and pushing past the fear, even on those days when you literally feel like you're going to throw up. Here are things that you want to take note of in your courage diary. 1, it's a way to track your conversations. 2, you're going to track what people say. What is the objection that they have? Is it the investment? Is it they're afraid? Is it that they don't have the time? Like, people come up with some very creative stuff. What is that? So you can, again, start to track that information. You can also track, where did these leads come from? Like, it's a lot of great information. You'll also figure out your close ratio, your yes to no. How many no's till you get to your yes? So you know pretty much each month how many conversations you need to start having, so that you're not caught in that cycle of feast or famine. The other thing that you're going to track in your courage diary are your emotions, because we all have those emotional triggers, and we all admit it. There are certain times that we take things personally, and if we start to track that, why am I taking it personally? What was going on today? What did they say what was that trigger, we can start dealing with our own emotions and paying attention to that, so that again, we're not self-sabotaging the process. We're not making it about us, and we're not getting in the way, because it's not doing us any good, and it's also a disservice to our prospects and our potential clients. So again, having a courage diary, if you don't want to create one, you can go to couragediary.com and download one for free. And then that'll be a great way for you to track your conversations while you're on this challenge. So we're going to track our conversations, we're going to track our objections, we're going to track where our leads came from, but more importantly, we're going to track our revenue. And exciting part is we're going to have revenue to track. So again, take action. Inaction breeds doubt and fear, but action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, don't sit at home thinking about it. Go out and get busy. Because I say, you know, there are all these things we have going on in our head, all these different stories we have going on, and a lot of times none of that stuff is true. So again, taking that action, getting out there, having those conversations, paying attention to those mindset tweaks that we need to make, so that we can have powerful and confident conversations. And here's the last thing, because I talked about what's that one thing that you can do in 3 seconds or less to really help amp up your energy. And this is it. Stand up. So most of us, when we're having conversations, we're on the phone. A lot of us do our conversation over the phone and they can't see us. Stand up. When you're standing up, you think quicker on your feet. Your voice projection is very different. The way you breathe is very different. And you just have a lot more confidence. So again, if you can, you're in your office and you're having these conversations and you're making these calls, be willing to stand up, get a whiteboard and write your points up there or whatever, and have that conversation while you're standing up. And that may be something cool also to track in your courage diary, like how many yeses did you get when you were standing versus how many yeses you got when you were seated. All right, so that is what Taria said, I love it. Stand up. Yeah, it's very simple. I was like, wait, what? All you gotta do is stand up. It works. Try it out. That's what I have for you today. So I'm really excited to cover those keys. Key number 1, stop selling, start connecting. Key number 2, go out and make a commitment to get 100 no's. And key number 3, get a courage diary. Start tracking it, having those conversations. And again, I just want to invite you to join me on the revenue challenge. Oh wait, I forgot, I need to post that. And you can go here for more information. That's doyenleadership.com/challenge. To get started, come on over, join us. We're already getting things cooking because we're ready to go out. And let's have fun. You can move from fear in sales to having a ton of fun, working with the clients you want to work with and making a lot of money doing it. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a good deal to me. So before we go, if there are any final questions, so I definitely want to honor your time. We got about 6 minutes left. Any final questions? If not, I look forward to seeing you on the challenge. doyenleadership.com/challenge. We start on June 19th. Now I want to see some more testimonials about 480% increases in revenue. All right. It doesn't look like we have any questions. So again, thank you so much for your time. It was an honor to have this session today. Thanks for your participation. And I look forward to seeing you in the Revenue Challenge. This is Dr. Nadia, your champion for womenpreneurs, signing off. I'll see you next time. Good night.